John 1:49. Respondit ei Nathanael et ait Rabbi, tu es filius Dei, tu es rex Israel. Nathanael replied to him and says, and here we get a direct quotation, Rabbi or teacher, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel. And that's where our quotation ends. So here Nathanael is making his striking statement of faith, which is the product of all that he's sort of been thinking and coming to understand as he's been listening to Jesus talk. Respondit ei is too common in the last few verses for us to dwell on much, except to remind you again that this is in the dated case. Et ait. Ait is from the verb io, to say, to speak, to affirm or confirm, among other things. And most of the time it's more or less a synonym. Let's just look at ait here. It's more or less a synonym for dicit and inquit, both of which mean he says, but they're used in slightly different circumstances. Dicit and ait are used more often in indirect speech. That is when one is reporting something that someone else has said, whereas inquit is more often used in direct speech. That is when someone's actual words are being quoted. Now, when I say usually, I'm talking about classical Latin. And of course, as we've said many times in the course of these videos, we're not in the realm of classical Latin anymore. But as many of you are beginning with classical Latin, I think it's important to provide some standard of comparison. Here, ait is actually introducing direct speech. Rabbi, this of course is not a Latin word, and elsewhere is explained as teacher. We might even say magister in Latin. Tu es filius Dei. This is a helpful reminder of your second person singular of sum esse, just in case you've forgotten it. The genitive here we want to note from Deus, Dei, of God. You are the King of Israel. Here we've got one of those sort of hidden genitives, right? When we've got Hebrew or Aramaic words that have reached our Latin text via the intermediary of Greek, sometimes those case endings sort of become invisible, and we have to infer them from the context of the sentence, which here is not too difficult.